Who would have thought that in 2020, so many of us would be leading worship to an empty room? On this video, I'm going to give you some tips to help make this transition to online worship leading a little bit less awkward. Coming up. Hi there, my name is Glory and this is your worship mentor, and on this channel my goal is to help you grow into a stronger worship leader right where you are. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button because it really makes a difference. So it's no secret, the world is in the midst of a pandemic, and this can cause a huge toll on everyone, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So many churches out there, mine included, and I'm sure yours, have been thrust into online worship services. People aren't allowed to gather in their normal church settings because of #social distancing. And it's really posing a challenge, not just for the congregation to not be able to be together, but also for us as worship leaders. Leading worship services online can be challenging for many reasons. And in this video, I want to address 3 common challenges that I've heard and give you some solutions and some simple ways of overcoming them. So let's get right into it. The number 1 challenge I've heard is it's so weird not having an audience. How can we lead a room that is now empty? I know for myself, when I'm leading worship, a lot of where I decide to go is based on what I'm getting an idea of from the room. So what am I sensing in this room? Where do I feel like people are? Because that's an important part of leading, right? Like if you're leading a nature hike through the woods, you can't keep going in one direction if everyone is not with you and the group has stragglers here and there and there's a whole bunch else going on. It's very important to have an idea of what's happening in the room and what people are experiencing in order to know where to lead them next. So to help with this challenge of having an empty room, I've seen some people put different cutouts in their audience, stuffed animals, and I've seen different ways of people making the room feel more full even though it's empty. Some of you may be without Star Wars cutouts or stuffed animals and you'll still run into this problem. So my solution for this is to think of this time where you're leading worship to an empty room as a time alone with you and God. When you are tasked with leading a room that's empty, it really has to transition into being more of like your personal time with God. This is more of a time that you're ministering to the Lord and you're inviting people in on that. Now, I know that might sound a little bit strange, but you're inviting the crowd to worship with you on their own. Because consider this, everyone else is at home on their own, worshiping with their computer screen or iPad or laptop, whatever. They are on their own. So you're just kind of setting the tone and giving them sounds to be able to do that at home. So to make it less awkward for you as a leader, you have to step into that place of, I'm just worshiping God. I'm not worshiping to lead this camera into worship, and I'm not worshiping with a full room, but I'm worshiping God, and this is just kind of a strictly vertical place of worship. Another challenge that I know a lot of people face is just the fact of not liking to be on camera. It's definitely not easy. And I know you see me make these videos and you think, oh, she's so great at being on camera. I hope you think that. I don't know. It takes a lot of energy and practice to be in front of a camera. It's awkward. It's awkward for anybody. And my solution for this challenge is be on camera. Obviously, you're maybe going to be recording your worship services ahead of time for the week, or you guys have recorded a bunch of them, or your plan is to record a bunch and then put those out there. So you might only get one time a week that you get to be on camera, and that time can make you feel like a deer in the headlights. However, in the middle of everything that's going on, one of the greatest things you can do, one of the greatest gifts you can give is your worship. And what that can look like is recording videos on your own at home. Just pull out your phone, pull out whatever, and just record yourself and post it to your Instagram, post it to your Facebook. Just singing a worship song or sharing an exhortation, sharing something that God has said to you recently. You know, there are a lot of ways that we need to stay connected in this time, and video and being on camera is a big one. I can't imagine how many of you, like myself, have been FaceTiming with your relatives and your friends just to stay connected. So in this time, I would suggest for sure that the best way for you to practice being on camera and getting more comfortable is to be on camera and get more comfortable. So I'm actually going to start doing this myself. I'm going to do a video every week, hopefully, of me just singing a worship song, just leading worship to no one, to the camera, and I'm going to post it on my social media. And the reason for that is I want to contribute something in this time where there's really not a lot many of us can do. A lot of us are out of jobs. A lot of us are in different places. And, things aren't normal. So to just kind of contribute some peace in the middle of a time where a lot of people are feeling anxious, I'm going to record some worship songs and I'm going to post them. Or I'm going to go on Instagram or Facebook Live. And I'm just going to put that out there because I think that really does make a difference for people. So if you use this tip, please tag me at It's Glorio on all social platforms. Tag me. I would love to see your videos. I'd love to worship with you guys. Tag me. The third challenge that I've heard is technical difficulties. Now, I know a lot of us worship leaders, including myself, can be perfectionists. We like to get things just right. We like our mix to sound perfect. We like everything to be just so. And that is not a bad trait. It can be in certain aspects, but it's not a bad thing. Now, I know a lot of you are running into the challenge of your audio mix being really messy when it's coming through online. And that's just simply because we're not mixing for a room full of people. We're mixing for an online audio stream, and that's a completely different animal. So I know a lot of you are facing that challenge, and there is going to be a bit of a learning curve in that. Also, another challenge in this same realm of technical difficulties is getting video quality just right. We all want to be able to be seen and not to be pixelated blocks, on stage for people to try and worship along with us. We know that these things are distracting. Like, as worship leaders, one of our biggest challenges is to limit and eliminate distractions as much as possible so that we can make a clear path for people to connect with God. So, I have a couple of tips to help with this technical difficulty issue. Do the best you can. Do the best you can with what you have. So if you have the capacity and the ability to buy a bunch of live streaming equipment and to get everything top notch for your church, then do that. But make sure you do your best with that. Don't just get all the equipment and assume it'll make everything better. Make sure you have the ability and make sure you have people with the capacity to actually do it well. Also, if you don't have the ability, the capacity, the finances for all that equipment, do the best you can with what you have. If you just have an iPhone, just stream with an iPhone. But with that being said, make sure that you're keeping it simple. If you're streaming with an iPhone and you don't have like a big, mix going in, it's probably best to keep it as simple as possible. So say one singer, one lead, one person singing harmony, a simple instrument, a guitar or piano, just as simple as possible makes it so much easier to mix and makes the sound just easier to get through. So it's not like this big band sound all coming through an iPhone. Like, that doesn't quite work out very well, and it just makes it more difficult. For singers, just a quick tip, please try to keep it simple and sing the melody. When you're singing in a large room, if you're singing the lead part and you're doing a lot of runs, the room is backing you up by singing the melody, because that's what everybody does anyway, is we sing the melody. Some people, I would say most people, follow the lead. So if the lead is singing a bunch of runs and we at home don't really know that song, we at home are not really going to be likely to sing along if we don't know what the melody is. And if your voice is the only one coming through that live stream and you're not singing the melody, it definitely doesn't sound as good and it doesn't help us as far as following the leader goes. So please sing the melody, keep it simple, less is more. If you do need more tech tips, there are a ton of other channels on YouTube that do a great job at that. I can link some videos in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Question of the day, is your church live streaming? If so, what kind of challenges have you been facing? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to dialogue with you guys down there, and I would love to get a conversation going. So thanks you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well and staying strong in the midst of this, staying together and doing our part. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. I just pray a blessing over every family, every person who's watching this, every person that you're connected to, for healing and health and wholeness. If you know anybody who's sick or affected with what's going on in the world today, I just pray a blessing over them. And I ask that God would cover you and your family and your loved ones in the middle of all this time.